Hello, Castet user JoshFreeman. My name is Benjamin Breaker Novotny, and I'm going to be casting your replay today. First and foremost, I'd like to say that yours sounds more familiar than all others, and right now I am trying a different kind of casting format where I introduce myself to you personally to try and get more familiar with you and to make you trust me just a little bit more. Not that I'm the character to be untrustworthy, but here we go. We're going to start casting your replay right now. Or at least by we, I mean me and my schizophrenic personalities. Hold on just a minute. Something is not right here. Just tried logging in, punched in my password, and that didn't quite work out. If you don't believe me, just go back 20 seconds in this video. Here we go. Now it's responding. Yeah. Alright, so XSplit, work with me. There we go. Alright, so it looks like we have JoshFreeman going up against someone by the name of Lex Jones, who actually likes to play in classic Wings of Liberty style and get his own split going, I guess. Anywho, let's go ahead and give both players their introduction. Upper left-hand corner, spawning as our red Protoss, I give you all Jonas. And he comes from the LexL clan. And in the lower right-hand corner, spawning as our blue Terran, I give you all JoshFreeman. Again, the map that we are on is Whirlwind LE. It is not a forced cross-position spawn, but it is, of course, in this particular instance, a cross-position spawn. Talking about this map in the context of TVP, PVT, however you will, Protoss, if expecting early pressure from Terran early on in the game, should probably, I don't know, perhaps go for a double gas opener. I myself do not play Protoss, so I couldn't really tell you what our player here is thinking. But, of course, the ramp here is pretty wide open, so I want to say 2, maybe 3 sentries max ought to be able to help this, or ought to be able to hold this, while reinforcing zealots or stalkers warp in to assist with marines, maybe a couple of marauders around the 7, 8, 9 minute mark. Meanwhile, it looks like we have JoshFreeman going for, I don't know, this is kind of an early gas, but I think it'll be done in time to get a Reaper out. And it's something that I highly appreciate that we see coming from our player JoshFreeman today, is that he's going to be sending out an SCV scout. Now, I can't tell you the number of times that I played a game on the Korean ladder, and I've seen people who would not use a drone scout or a probe scout or an SCV scout. I really think that is a detriment. You need to be as safe as possible in any given matchup. And no matter what the matchup, I want to say if it involves Terran, it's the most risky because, of course, Terran could just plant the double proxy racks whenever and then lift it off and go back home safely. Maybe use one of those barracks to scout, get a tanky scout in, if you will. And it looks like we're going to have a Reaper coming out now from Josh as predicted. But we also have a double gas going down for Lex Jonas, and nothing is in production yet. I'm thinking, you know, I mean, Day 9 did a daily on PvP. The first unit that they crank out sometimes would be a sentry. I think that a sentry or a stalker in this case would be acceptable, but I'm leaning more towards a stalker simply due to the fact that it is able to... It has a better chance of chasing down a Reaper in the early game than a Zealot does. Of course, Zealots move slower. They need to be meticulously microed in order to really catch a Reaper. And indeed it is a Stalker coming from Jonas. What is this? We have a proxy pylon going down. I wonder if it's probably going to be a Stargate that we see from Jonas in the near future. It could be. It could very well be. And the SCV that we had from JoshFreeman is actually going back to the upper right, even though he's already scouted our red Protoss. So I find this a little confusing. Maybe this is something that he had pre-cooked up, but anywho. Josh's Reaper has arrived now in the main, and it's going to get a good scout on his opponent. It'll see the double gases, full workers on all of them, and that's about it. That's the purpose that it serves for this game. No workers killed, not even once poked. And now we have double stalkers coming out and a proxy Stargate going down for Jonas. So we have to see JoshFreeman be meticulously careful in the near future. He's already going for an engineering bay, which I find a little stunning, but maybe I think this is more than acceptable fear. And right now we have the SCV just scouting around, looking for some kind of proxy play. I mean, one way or another, once you think about what we have coming from Jonas, if it is indeed hidden tech, Anti-air does a lot of good in this stage, and the SCV was just kind of hiding from us there, and it looks like it will scout this proxy Stargate, and it'll see that there's an Oracle on the way. Yes, you can see it inside that, but the Stalkers are going to catch on to this and see it and put it and kind of shut down the SCV. So back at the natural, we have Jonas, excuse me, we have JoshFreeman torn between two ends of defense. He's going to go with the double bunker, but I'm thinking like this pressure, this contain, if you will not be too serious in nature or stature. We just now see a missile turret going down in the main for JoshFreeman. And the Oracle actually has a huge window of opportunity to do some damage, but it looks like maybe a misclick or perhaps just that's what I'm looking for, a delay by Jonas is going to cost him a lot of SCVs. They're all right-clicking on that missile turret, and 1, 2, 3 shots get off on that Oracle with now 7 worker kills. And again, that brings the total number of workers killed for Jonas to 8. But of course, Terran has mules. He's not too far behind. Josh is good to go, and he's gonna, he's going a little overtly defensive. There's nothing wrong with those bunkers, but at the same time, he could be, I think, maybe committing a few more resources to teching up. Both of the refineries in the main kind of lost their SCVs, but I think it's more than acceptable given the fact that he knows that his opponent's trying to put on some pressure, trying to get some worker kills, and that's his main goal right now. Behind this, Jonas, what is he following this up with? There's a forge going down in the main, robotics facility as well. And oracles are ready to go everywhere on the map. It looks like, how many do we have now? Do we have 2? Yes, and it looks as though they are the original 2 that we began this game with. Missile turret is already finished up at the natural, so as long as the SCVs get a surround on that missile turret, an adequate surround on it, then they may be just fine, but hold on. They're going to have to get drawn within that missile turret's range. Well, the SCVs, bro! Prepare the turret. 1 Oracle does fall, but not without killing a couple of SCVs first, and it came very close to killing that turret. Is that a light armored structure? It looked like they were doing a lot of damage to it for just 2 oracles. I mean, come on. Unfortunately, I can't see the DPS with an oracle in this game, but yeah. Alright, behind this, we have 3 gateways that are ready to go and get an eagerly going contain on this player, but it looks like, unfortunately, Jonas made a mistake. He just chrono boosted when he was kind of slightly supply blocked. Only a slight mistake, but again, mistakes can lead to a player's victory or defeat, and it looks like we got some defensive sentries ready to go down here. And JoshFreeman is ready for just about anything that comes to him. He's perfectly alright in the position he's doing, a little heavy in terms of defense, but given the fact that he can own... The last thing that he's seen was that Stargate, I think it's more than an acceptable response. He is, of course, going to go ahead and follow up his defense with a 1-1-1. Looks like there's going to be a tech lab finished on this factory, but what is going to switch out with it? It looks like... Okay, we're a little more clear on that now. Missile turret here, looks like it was just getting some action on an Oracle. And I like that. That was pretty clever. That was pretty good. And the Oracle's still going to be as annoying as humanly possible. Look at that. That is some pretty high DPS. I never would have imagined. Back in the beta, they were so strong that 3 or 4 of them could kill a hatchery in a matter of seconds. But this... Wow. I never actually knew they were practical for, just killing population container exploders, if you will, or population inhibitors, if you will, like supply depots or overlords. Well, overlords, they can't shoot up, so yeah, never mind. They're not good for killing overlords. Robotics Bay and the Twilight Council down already, but we have a cloaked Banshee coming out and on the way in classic Wings of Liberty style. And as long as Josh feels contained, his opponent's going to go ahead and take that third, but that doesn't mean he's not getting his own third. Look at this. The Planetary Fortress is almost finished, and again, like I said, I really like that turret being there. And 3 full bunkers. The only problem is Josh really doesn't know what he's up against. He doesn't know what's containing him. I think at this point it would be okay to use a scan or 2 just to get, complete. See what his opponent's tech is. It's double forge now. I just now noticed that, and it looks like we're going to have +2 armor going down. I'm sorry, that looked like almost like +3 in my perspective, but Protoss upgrades all look the same to me. The only ones that I feel are easy and clear to tell apart would be the Zerg ones. Hellions now moving out. I think the only real trouble they're going to find and causing economic damage is, of course, arriving at the natural. That's just so, you know, I don't know what the word is. Not really stopped up, but there's 3 sentries there. They are, of course, light units, and I believe the Hellions will be able to hit them behind force fields, but it looks like we're going to have some static defenses going down at the 3rd. These Hellions are waiting here thinking that perhaps... Wait. No. Okay. I see what you're doing there, bro. I see what you're doing there, Josh. Clever. Alright, so if he could actually pick off this Colossus, I think it would be pretty good. But of course, I would revolve around him, driving into detection. Oh, man. Look at that. It was not too bad, but there's 4 probes here that were just exposed. And it looks like now, finally, we have Banshee number 2 out and ready to deal with this. But wait a minute. He's actually going full-blown Sky Terran behind this. At 15 minutes into the game. Well, I kind of like this, considering he did get a swoop of his opponent's main composition. He almost sacrificed the Banshee, which is really expensive, just to get a good look at that. And I think maybe to make the composition just a little more complete. And wow, what is this double command center? Hold on, whoa. Sweet mother of command centers, Batman. We're gonna have another one going down over here at the 3rd. I don't know, maybe this is maybe one of these is gonna be morphed into a planetary fortress, and then the other one an orbital command. Perhaps this one, which is gonna go forward here, will be morphed. No, it could be double planetary, who knows? That is, after all, I think why he didn't morph them into orbital commands, because the big difference is you go for an orbital command before you lift off that command center and land it, because while it's in flight, that gives it a little more time to actually get energy, gather energy from mules, and so on and so forth. Now, we do have 2 more command centers going down behind this, and I'm a little curious as to how they will be used. These Hellions, these 4 Hellions, are going to be taking down a Stalker, sort of, just kind of driving it off, but the Stalker just needs to buy some time for this probe to go by, and it looks like it will. Relatively undetected, but, oh, wait, that could change. Could it?
Complete.
Oh, wow, okay, I had no clue. That was actually rather brilliant. Okay, so behind this, Josh has double planetary fortresses. He realizes that while simultaneously getting up his macro, he's going to have to be ultra defensive in the essence of turtling. Again, these are just 2 ordinary command centers. Perhaps they will be morphed into orbital commands, but I don't think that's likely. I want to remark that it's actually rather amazing that these Hellions have survived to the 17-minute mark now in the game, almost. Early 17-minute mark. And our Protoss is now dotting the map with essentially a bunch of these. Oh, but wait a minute. I'm a little curious. What did that Oracle see just now? He did try to come in here and get some worker kills, and it looks like we actually have Josh getting quite a few behind this as well with these Hellions. Of course, not as many worker kills all throughout the game as the opponent, and it looks like our response from Jonas is going to be Phoenixes. I think Void Rays would possibly be a better choice. Can't really tell. I wish I knew whether or not Banshees were armored right now, because it's one of those things that so very few people look into at this stage of the game. I want to say that this is one of those playstyles that reminds me of coming across, I don't know, Korean Terrans on the ladder, really. Now, these Phoenixes are going to come in here, but of course, I don't know. Like, we do have 4 Vikings here. Vikings do outrange Phoenixes, but of course, Phoenixes outfly Vikings. They can out-micro them as well, and it looks like we're going to have double planetary fortresses here as well. Of course, our Terran going into super total mode, or super turtle mode, excuse me. I don't know what's wrong with me. I did just eat, I guess. And it was a bunch of carbohydrates, so it made me a little tired. And again, double command centers going down for the time being. I'm just a little perplexed. Will it be, say... What are we going to see from these 2? Is it going to be 1 orbital command and 1... That's what I'm looking for. 1 orbital command and 1 planetary fortress? Well, at any rate, he's going to have a lot of trouble holding his ground here. If he could snipe those Colossi, though, that would make for golden engagements. He's going to... Oh, man, the missile turrets actually took down the observers, so it looks like if those Banshees come in here and cloak, they will be just fine. Look at this. He has to cloak now. He's not doing it because he's perhaps doubtful of whether or not the Stalkers will be able to target him down, and now we've got the Ravens, of course, throwing out the point defense drones, and they kept a lot of DPS from coming in from those Stalkers. Motion sensor towers going down behind this, and I want to say that JoshFreeman just inflicted a lot of damage on our Protoss. It looks like perhaps there was a 30 supply deficit. There was a 30 supply difference between the players, and just using point defense drones, Banshees, and Vikings, he was able to change that up entirely. But behind this, Jonas is going for Dark Shrine. But of course, when these turrets are restored, that's going to be almost useless here. The natural, yes, just as useless. The third, useless. So I'm thinking he's going to be able to get a lot of, what's what I'm looking for, Archons out at a price that would be cheaper than warping in a couple of, what's the word I'm looking for? A price that would be cheaper than warping in a couple of High Templar, but at least gas-wise. And this is a little bit astounding. We actually have JoshFreeman now going for battle cruisers on 3 base. 76% win rate, according to him on Reddit in the subsection Casted. And now triple motion sensor tower, and we see that JoshFreeman is now essentially impenetrable unless we can see Jonas perhaps get a lot of Void Rays out. There's not a lot in the way of, what's the word I'm looking for, AoE that Terran can really do to deal with Void Rays, except perhaps nukes, and even then, you'd have to get a 1 in a million shot at this level of play to actually get those nukes to connect with the Void Rays. They are, after all, super mobile. They can be pulled out of the fray, and if nothing else, a Mothership Core can actually use its mass recall ability to get the entire army out of the fray. Here we do have Lex Jonas going ahead and taking down these rocks. Look at these Immortals just kind of dancing in the background. You can't really see them because of the tree, but now here they come. And this is the huge engagement we've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Just look at this. Point defense drones going down yet again. Those Stalkers are entirely negated by the point defense drones. Banshees going into cloak mode yet again, but there is an observer in this mix. The Phoenixes are able to get some shots out in there. But again, just Jonas is not able to keep a supply up, and now he's finally making the transition to Void Race a little bit too late, just a little too late. Wait a minute. Is it just me? This looks pretty shenanigan-y. This really looks like a bunch of shenanigans right here. Look at this. Overlapping geometry. Sorry, I'm going to go back to this as I don't want to miss any action. Do you guys see this right here? I mean, I think the only way you could do this is with hacks. Like, you guys can see what I'm talking about, right? These two Stargates are essentially going through each other. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Now Jonas is going to come back in here and try and put on some hurt, but again, I just don't think it's going to be enough. Look at the Phoenixes, their shots are getting shot out before they even get a chance to shoot, but yeah. It's like shooting down missiles. It's like Patriot missile systems versus intercontinental ballistic missiles, regardless of their payload, their carry load, whatever. And now it looks like the observers have upgraded speed as well. This is something that you rarely see in a PvP at this stage in the game, and now he just realizes, okay, well, my opponent's going to have mass detection, so I'm going to need mass detection to counter his mass detection. Or at least make sure there are some leftover observers in the mix, because then he'll stand a better chance. I mean, I don't think I've seen like all sky compositions like this, but behind this we have the Behemoth reactor, the Corvid reactor. I forget which one acts in favor of the Raven, and I forget which one acts in favor of the battle cruiser. Because, again, these upgrades are just so rarely seen. And now, 4 starports being added on. This is infrastructure, guys. The production buildings. That's basically what makes your build viable. And now we have Lex Jonas just expoing all over the map because he needs to be able to throw away entire armies. He needs to be able to hold more resources than his opponent in the near future. Now we have quite a few orbital commands in the main, and this style from JoshFreeman reminds me a little bit of Empire Beast and Cutie. But again, I can't verify that too much, not too deeply. And it looks like JoshFreeman occupies the entire map. He's kind of throwing these... Ouch. He's kind of throwing these Phoenixes around, not away, but just trying to get some good readings on, again, JoshFreeman, just from Jonas. And it looks like the Natural's about to go dry with a lot of SCVs on it. third as well. One thing I need to highlight as well is what we have in production. 3 Ravens. The battle cruisers are enough, but the Ravens, come on, they're what's really gonna just absolutely torture our Protoss player. I do need to bring to your attention, however, never mind, it can wait, because we do have a huge engagement here. It looks like the Vikings are falling one at a time. And the Yamato cannons are being activated, trying to target down those Colossi, not quite working out. We need to see Jonas find a way to throw away these Stalkers and get some heavier units out. Okay, so again, guys, the time now is 27 minutes, 30 seconds in game. I want you guys to leave a comment on this video and tell me whether or not this is like a hacker right here. I mean, I've never seen this before. 2 overlapping Stargates. Is that a bug or something? Or is it some kind of a hack? I remember it was possible to do in the Brood War days, but you'd have to implement a third-party hacking program in the Brood War for that to work. And I've seen it happen, I just don't know how it works. I've had it used against me on lands before. Or at least exploited lands. Phoenix is coming back over here and poking, not really getting too much damage done. But again, a huge counterattack over here. It looks like 1 or 2 planetary fortresses will fall. And this is pretty important, actually. If he can actually swipe this and get out, he's in good shape. And it looks like he did. He sniped it. It looks like no number of SCVs in the world could have saved him there. Oh, man. Vikings basically one-shotting, volleying the... almost one-shotting the Void Wraith here from Jonas. But, I mean, again, he's just chasing down the entire army. The Ravens are able to keep up, no trouble, but... ouch. Just the rest of this. It's kind of falling apart. Here we go. We're going to see some beautiful storms here. Feedbacks would have been beautiful, but at the same time, they don't quite go down. Storms, again, do not stack in terms of damage, so it just didn't quite work out for our Protoss. I think it would have been much more worth this time to go ahead and use feedback. Maybe. Again, I mean, after all, it negates all the energy on these units if it doesn't have enough energy to actually kill it. 1 point of energy equals 1 point of damage. Here it means 110 damage on that 1 Raven. And I don't believe point defense drones actually negate feedback. Scan going down yet again on top of JoshFreeman's main army here. And we just see the map is kind of littered here and there with point defense drones. Those are basically vision and trip mines. They let our Terran know when and where our opponent, or when or where our Protoss is gonna go. It looks like these DTs just came down here to check and see if there was actually a base on the lower right, and now that again tripped them up just a little bit. Storms looks like could possibly go down on the mineral line. If they do, it would be a total waste, total shame, I think. But it goes down anyway. The SCVs get pulled away. They're gonna get the snipe, but are they gonna get out of there alive? The Mothership Core is not with them right now. And my god, the Phoenixes basically all get totally decimated by those Yamato cannon shots. And now this is basically like, this is all banking on Josh wanting to find a favorable engagement point. What I think he doesn't know is just how much of a position he's in to win this game right now. Of course, I think he's waiting for Terran 3-3 to finish up before he actually moves out. Ravens also in production as well. And double command center is going down here yet again, but motion sensor is going to come back up and see that the Protoss army is moving in this direction. I don't think this is going to work out for Jonas. It's actually so in favor of Freeman right now. Here we go. Oh my god! The Raven Hunter Seeker missiles are going to make for some epic damage. Look at that! Oh my god! That just took the army down to like half of what it was in both health and numbers. Is this an AFK Protoss? He's throwing away some probes. Ouch. That was actually kind of crazy. Now lots of cannons here are going to help Jonas kind of hold his position here. Is he going to use storms here or feedback? It looks like this time around he's going to use feedback, accompanied by a few storms. And I don't think he's going to be able to hold his ground here for too long. Again, stacking the storms, and it's beautiful at that.
Now we just have an Immortal or two sitting down here waiting to dance. The High Templars are going to get some beautiful splash damage on these battle cruisers. It looks like maybe one or two of them do make the connections they need to. And now it looks like perhaps the battle cruisers are overextended. The energy on the point defense drones is out, but we do see more and more being thrown down again. Jonas, it looks like, is in a lot of deep shit, for lack of a better word. And he's gonna start massing up some Void Rays. That would be a good idea. But in return, I think Freeman could end up dropping fuels to kind of prepare. Or no, he's actually gonna pull some SCVs. Like, this is where Protoss goes, oh, you dirty turn rat, you. Alright, so I don't know, it's all going to come down to the prismatic alignment, really, and the engagement point, but I think there could be a few too many battle cruisers here. Feedbacks have been used on them appropriately. And I'm wondering if our Terran is actually aware. Yeah, he should be aware that there's a base down here. He's actually moving the barracks here and his fleet now. I still think that if Protoss chases this down right now, it might be in a good position. But not too great. Gas income right now is actually really high for our Protoss, 800 per minute. I think he could use a little bit more at this stage. He's floating a lot of, well, a few more minerals actually, a lot more minerals, to be quite honest. Oh my god, and I think he's wasting these feedbacks, he really is, but at the same time, this is giving our Terran free vision. I don't think that was necessary, but he went ahead and used feedbacks on them anyway. Behind this, Jonas going ahead and getting his, I don't know, is this his 8th base behind this? Planetary Fortress is now going down, or excuse me, got restored over here at the pocket, lower right, if you will. The pocket, I don't know, 3.5 position one. It looks like these Stalkers are going to warp in here and take down these barracks and basically restore their claim on this base over here. Now, the main army for our Terran is over here, and it's almost completely fully repaired by all these SCVs. That is a lot of battle cruisers. If feedbacks go down on these, then it's only going to do a limited, an extremely limited amount of damage. What we really need to see is a bunch more Void Rays from our Protoss to really win this. I mean, mass Void Rays, sure, they're basically negated by mass Marines, but come on. Right, so the Widow Mines get thrown away just to get some eyes on that. Storm's going down, feedback's going down, but there's not enough feedbacks in the world to deal with this battle cruiser composition. Again, the Raven's Hunter Seeker missile's going down, and I'm wondering, has Terran actually lost anything here yet? He's lost half of what his Protoss opponent has lost in this game so far. Less than half, actually. That's just, I think that is crazy. And now we just have our, you know, I want to say Jonas. He's kind of blood drunk and looking for revenge now. You know, he's just got almost no way to get in because of all these static defenses. Perhaps almost no way in, but I think he could probably take a Void Ray in through this route. But he's just not all that map aware, not all that present of what's going on here. DTs, again, they are not tanks. They're not meant to be used like tanks, going in and killing an entire bunker with 4 or 5 of them while they're being fully detected and all that good stuff. 6 more Ravens getting added to the mix right now. High Templars also coming along. That is to say, low health High Templar. And these ones, oh my god, oh my god, the storms are going down. They're making connections, but they're doing so little damage, really. Jonas using his Void Rays to target down whatever he can, and he's doing a good job with it, but the Ravens are relatively unaffected. He needs to target down those battle cruisers with them. And this is the point in the game where you just say, stop making Stalkers, start making Void Rays. I don't see why our Protoss is doing this. I mean, he's already lost so many Stalkers from doing this. Sure, his Void Rays. He says, whole army for 1 battle cruiser, not bad. He says, so effing boring. Yeah, I've seen a lot of players do this on the Korean server, but whether or not it's viable versus pros is a completely different story. Our Terran now floating a huge bank, and his losses, again, are still less than half of that of Protoss. Our Protoss needs to again, just go straight up mass Void Ray. He needs to get beautiful spreads on those Void Rays as he engages, and he just needs to go in for the kill. But again, JoshFreeman, just everything here maxed out. I'm wondering what exactly he's trying to do here. It's kind of got me just a little bit mystified. I'm wondering how much longer this game is going to last. He's already maxed out. Why doesn't he simply push out and try to engage? He must know that it takes a lot longer time for Protoss. He's already seen that his Protoss opponent is trying so hard to get those Void Rays out, to get those Stalkers out, and he just can't do it in adequate numbers. So why not? Why on earth doesn't he just go ahead and take the fight to him? But finally, we do see some Tempests coming into the mix as well. I'm wondering, do we have +1 air attacks on the way? Do we even have any air upgrades for our Protoss? And now, again, double command center followed by missile turrets. If there ever was an indestructible composition, I found it. He might be the worst player in the game. It's hard to tell, though. As you can see, Jonas is not all that happy. It's hard to tell, though. Awesome. Super turtle mode, if you will, from JoshFreeman. This is certainly an eye catcher, but I mean, you know, Jonas, I think the perfect composition for him would have been ideally just getting a bunch of High Templar out, get the feedbacks down on the battle cruisers, because again, those will do more damage than any storms, at least per battle cruiser, and just accurately measure how many battle cruisers your opponent has. Perhaps, you know, 2 lines of High Templar would have been okay. Morph them into Archons once the feedbacks go, and then just use Void Rays to attack them from there. I don't think point defense drones can block that, but we're about to find out. Oh my god, the point defense drones are actually able to block these Raven shots, or excuse me, these Tempest shots, which are the most vital thing in the game right now to our Protoss. Can't even attack, look at them, they're getting shot before they even leave the Locusts. One shot finally does get off for our Protoss here. +2 level, +2 attack weapons for his flyer units, but again, it looks like JoshFreeman is just going to move out the hill now. He's able to make a Nexus just absolutely melt in front of his eyes. He needs to throw down those feedbacks. Jonas needs to throw down those feedbacks because, again, they do more damage for his battle cruiser than Storm would. And he just says GG and he left it. Looks like he's actually gotten that much down as a, you know, at least a habit. I wouldn't say a good habit per se, but definitely a habit. And, I don't know, I think maybe it would have been viable for him to make as many gateways as he does have. Maybe say... Or I wanted to say that perhaps it would have been more viable for him to make as many Stargates as he does, say, gateways on the map. Let's check the tech structure, or the tech ups that he has. Excuse me, that's not what I was looking for. Alright, so altogether on the map there's 5 Stargates, 8 Nexus, 16 Warp Gates. If he had like half of those Stargates, if he had 8 Stargates, then he probably would have been good to go. At any rate, I'd like to thank JoshFreeman for giving me this replay. It looks rather interesting to say the very least, and I want to thank you guys for watching this. This has been Breaker. I will see you guys next time.